Yeah. Hometown.
Yeah, yo, we kicking it live. Vince and Stevie D, OWSports podcast is the place to be. Bill's Mafia, repping the red, white, and blue, no doubt. With Josh Allen, just stand up and shout. Gang Green, coming with that New York flair. Jets in the mix, you know they taking it there. The rivalry is fierce, but they keep it 100. Legends in the making, pressure never stunted. From MetLife to Highmark, bright lights when the night's dark. Touchdown, dream, steel beams, leave a big spark. Bills and Jets, we clash on the field, but on this podcast, we keep it sealed. Respect for the game, we all in the zone. Vince and Stevie D, we holding our own. So tune in tight, don't miss a beat. OWSports, where the real ones meet. Sit back.
It's OWSports, the fastest growing podcast about the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets. You get the best takes, the most engaging interviews, and they are always keeping it real. So sit back, relax, and get ready to talk some NFL. Now here's your hosts, Vince and Stevie D.
And welcome back to another edition of Official Word Sports. I'm Vince. I'm here with my co-host, Stevie D. And Stevie D, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Can't believe it's here already.
Thanks for nothing, Brandon Bean. Thanks for nothing, Sean McDermott.
I'm just going to say thanks for nothing, Woody Johnson, because yet again, he is disappointed. Well,
I don't have a lot to say. There's a lot that I have to say, Stevie D, and I got nothing for you. Right? If my team doesn't want to win, they don't care. Why are they forcing me to care? That's where I struggle. That's where I struggle. And that's the problem. They know they got me.
yeah.
They know they have all of Bill's Mafia. They know this. And so, to them it's a hobby. We laugh and joke. And make fun of Jay. And when we talk to Jay, we talk about, just how Howie does it and, the fantasy football type roster creation and all of that. And it's not that I want to be there. And I don't think you want to be there. I don't want to speak for you. But it's not that we want to be there, but we want our teams to do what's right.
Yeah, I think I would call it strategic acquisitions.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have needs in certain spots. And that's how I would put it at.
So let me ask you this question. Yeah, I know you're not a Bills fan, Jets fan over there. Was the signing of McCole Hardman a strategic acquisition?
It was a desperation. I think they were trying to get a returner because I don't know how else to put it. McCole Hardman on tape for the last couple of years, what have you seen that says he can make an impact?
Yeah.
And in the first game, it was the fool's gold. Right? It was like when the Jets signed McCole Hardman. In the preseason game, he had this great returner, and everybody in Jets land is like, oh, my God, look at this. Oh, wait, people, just wait. And then the real McCole Hardman stood up later in the game when he had 3 drops in the preseason game. So, when he had that big return, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He has this big return in his first touch. But then again, later in the game, the real McCole Hardman stood up and fumbled.
And I'm not even upset with the fumble. It's the quality of the player that bothered me, right? It's one of those oblique moments where you realize I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Let me see what's out there, right? And you look behind door number 1, nothing. You look behind door number, nothing, right? You're all the way at door number 20. You open up, there's McCole Hardman. Hey, how are you? I'm available. And you bring him
We
in.
was
You're
not.
like, all right, this is going to change everything. Really?
He wasn't even on the NFL roster.
No, no. And he's been cut multiple times for a reason. Then he plays, right? They use him for exactly what? To go down the field. They try to hit him deep, and that goes nowhere. He did have a good kickoff return. I give him credit for that. Um, but then he gets hurt.
The funny thing for me on Nicole Hardman, when he was with the Chiefs, the Jets, and then I saw it on the sidelines with Buffalo. He has this ego about him that he is the greatest player, and that he can't believe like he fumbled the football, like I fumbled the football. He's got the weirdest facial expressions on the sidelines that he's the greatest gift, and he can't believe that he made a bad play. But you've made bad plays everywhere you go. Like you're nobody in the game of football, and you
Yeah.
have this ego because you played for the Chiefs and you won some titles, but you weren't even the mainstay. Even when he won had that play in the Super Bowl, it wasn't a crazy great play by him. Nobody covered him because it's Miko Hardman. So he's wide open because nobody believes that Mahomes would throw him the football.
Wasn't that the same play that the Eagles got beat on twice?
Probably because I mean he was wide open. I mean, bad.
So, okay, so now he goes on IR, and then you go sign Brandon Cooks. Again, am I supposed to get excited over this? All you are doing is reaffirming the fact that you were asleep at the wheel during the trade deadline period. That's all you're doing. And don't give me this. I was going after Waddle. No, you weren't. You weren't. And there were so many other players to be had. We saw wide receivers floating around between different teams. Some big contracts, a lot of low contracts, things that you could have absorbed. You had a
Right.
player renegotiate his salary, his contract, to give you some freedom to go make a trade, and you don't. I think, if anything, Stevie D, personally, oh, we lost Stevie D. I don't know what happened to Stevie D there, but we did lose him. So we'll wait for him to come back. Um, yeah, he was gone for a minute. We'll see if we can get him back. But what I was telling Stevie D, oh, there he is. I don't know what happened to your video, Stevie D.
I got nothing for you. That was weird.
But I don't know. I just think that when we look at everything that Brandon Beane has done, all of these moves just show that you are desperate, and you're desperate because you know that your job is on the line. Sean McDermott is desperate because he knows his job is on the line. You can't keep doing this stuff over and over and over again. You can't. And so, I would just, hey, there's Craig. Hey, Craig. Oh, we got a conversation for you, my friend. Um, so it's sad, right? It's sad, and I don't buy into the pundits that talk about the windows closing. The window's not closing. It's the ineptness of the people that are in charge of the house. That's the problem. So
So I mean, technically, you could say that then that as long as those guys in charge, the window could be closing. Maybe if you brought in a different group of people that would bring in a different personnel, maybe they
well,
wouldn't
then
have
the,
those same
the
remarks.
window
I
was
don't know.
closing. The window was closing since 2019, when you can't draft. You can't draft. Boy, I see this. I'm wondering if there's a little shade being thrown here, Stevie D. Are you feeling something?
Hey,
Are you?
we lost to the Ravens, so I mean, he's saying go Jets because they beat us. So I mean,
I think
yeah.
there's a little shade coming in there. That's what I think. Anyways, we'll get more into that. Both the Jets and the Bills. this is the time for Thanksgiving, so we were trying to figure out what we were thankful for. It has nothing to do with the Jets and nothing to do with the Bills. But what I am thankful for, Stevie D, number 12 in your program, number 1 in your heart, from the Cleveland Browns, Shador Sanders. All right, high drama, 4 p.m. Eastern, high drama. No, I'm not talking about the Philly Eagle or the Philly Cowboys game. I am talking about the Browns versus the Raiders. Usually we like to go through our segments and talk about some of the games that happen. This one, though, Stevie D, I think everybody has been waiting on this one since draft night. Just when we talk about draft night, we talk about what happened with Shador. Okay, let's get past it. But then you see what was happening at training camp for the Browns. Let's get past it. And then we see Dylan Gabriel come in and you say, okay, well, he's the 3rd round pick. All right. Let's see what he's got. Even though we already know what he's got, right? Especially if you follow college football, you know what he's got or what he doesn't have. And everybody was like, it's time, right? Let's see what Shador has. You got nothing to lose. And the defiance of Kevin Stefanski, I think, has been unreal. Unreal. And Shador went out there. Now, did Shador have a great game? No, he didn't, to be honest with you. He didn't. But he had a good game as a rookie. Right? I think we can appreciate that.
Right. I think that's where a lot of people are missed on it. Like, he's a rookie that finally got snaps with the ones for a week. Actually, it's really less than a week because you don't practice every day because you get an off day, right? So when you think about that, yeah, and he's still a rookie. And, I look at it as the juice that he brought. I think that's the new word everybody likes to say, is the juice. You said it to me like 100 times. Look at Myles Garrett. Look at Myles Garrett. He was watching, he was standing, he was watching, and then you see the replay of the ball, and then how excited he got. I mean, look at the defense. They put up 10 sacks, right? I just thought he brought an energy and an excitement to the team. And again, I'm watching, and I know we're going to hit a couple of things here. I'm listening to reporters talk to him at the podium, bringing up the relationship between him and Stefan. Like, you're trying to start trouble. It's almost like somebody's planting reporters to start trouble to derail this kid.
I don't know. I don't know if they're planting. I don't know if they're planting because you brought this up before a few weeks ago when we were talking about the reporters, right? It's that guy that is trying to get that snippet, trying to get that voice cut that's going to make him like the world-renowned reporter. I got the exclusive. I got Shador to say, F you to Stefanski. And Shador was like, no, what are you trying to do? He called him out. And then the guy backtracked, right? You could tell, novice type reporter because he just backtracked. No. That's not what I was saying. That's not what I meant, right? And then, it went forward. Craig put, he is gone.
Oh, Stefanski's gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. Stevie D, I will say that I was, again, it wasn't the cleanest game, for sure. It really wasn't. He had a lot of 3 and outs. But I thought he looked competent.
Yes.
I thought he looked in control. He threw the interception, bad interception. To your point, we were talking yesterday. Quarterbacks are throwing interceptions every single game, right? It's not some phenomenon like, oh, I can't believe he threw an interception. And it was on a zone blitz where it was delayed for the defensive end to come back into the pattern, and it caught him off guard. Okay. If you
could great defensive call to fool a rookie.
Yes.
And that's what he did. He fooled the rookie.
Now, if he continues to throw that, right, and gets beat by that, then we have an issue. But now I think he's smart enough to say, I got you. I got you, 97. I got you, right? And call him out.
I think the only thing, and we've seen this a lot with rookie quarterbacks in the league, is I thought in the third or it was the fourth quarter, I think it may have been the fourth quarter, he started to run backwards with the rush. He didn't do that all game long. And it's like young quarterbacks in the NFL, like, right? Like they're going to outrun everybody and they start running backwards. See it a lot with young quarterbacks. And that to me, that was the one thing I wish he didn't do.
I have a 9-year veteran, or no, what is he? An 8-year veteran that ran back and lost 18 yards on a sack
Last week
on Thursday night. Number 17.
That's the only thing that I really saw that I was like, man, I hope he sees that on tape and says, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. But again,
it happens. So I'll say this: it happens. I don't think he's earned enough cred like Josh has, where Josh can brush that off, right? And he hasn't made enough big plays out of scrambling around there like Josh has, or Lamar, or go back even Fran Tarkenton to be able to dust that off, right? So he's got to stay in there. But I think that's the desire to make a play.
No, right, sure. When you saw it and it didn't look good, at least the second. I think the second one looked worse than the first. I forget which one. There was one that looked worse than the other. And I think you're just going to come to the realization that that's you could do that every now and again. Just don't make it part of your every game repertoire while you're doing it multiple times a game.
Agreed.
At the end of the day, that throw he made downfield was a heck of a throw on the run to his right, led the receiver to the ball, perfectly placed. It's just a shame the guy couldn't stay on his feet to score the touchdown because, then it would have looked even that much better. But again, they won 24. It was really 24-3. They scored the garbage touchdown at the end when nobody really cared. He didn't kill his team. And for a guy that hasn't played and you didn't kill your team, was great. And again, the energy that was brought, you have to look at it more from not just from his numbers perspective, how everybody was just energized. And you just saw him interacting with his teammates. I just thought you said, I think you said at the beginning of the podcast, the segment, he looked the part. And what you're looking, had a lot of composure out on the field that you normally don't see with young rookie quarterbacks. And again, I think that's his upbringing, being around everyone and anyone, being Deion Sanders' son. Yep. There's not a situation or a person that's going to make him nervous. He's seen it all. I mean, he's the one rare breed of player. You could say maybe the Manning's kid, right? It's the only other kid I could think of that it would have seen it all, right? Because you had Eli and Peyton. So that kid that's going to come in, the nephew, he's been around every player, like Shador has. Every player you can imagine, from defense to offense. When he was at Colorado, the Jackson State, forget high school and as a kid, just the players that Deion would bring into the locker room, nothing's going to faze that kid. He's had conversations with the greatest players of all time, and he talks situations.
100%. 100%. So if we still on Shador, but let's move away. I know we talked about it briefly. One thing that caught me off guard minutes after it happened, minutes after it was posted, was the locker room speech by Stefanski. Instantly, I'm sending this over into our chat. Guys, you got to look at this. What's wrong with this? Right? And so what I'm talking about, if you're not aware, if you didn't see it, so Kevin Stefanski, rah-rahing it up in the locker room, goes, player, position, says, hey, good job, clapping it up. Everybody's clapping. Gets to the Shador, and it all of a sudden the enthusiasm, the level just dropped by like 50. Right? Good game, Shador. And then moves on, and it gets back up to up to another 50. And you're beating me to it. You're beating me to it, Craig. And just to hear that, you almost felt the tension and the animosity, right? It was forced to say, "Hey, good game." The other odd thing, and I had to start doing, all of a sudden I became a Cleveland Browns research reporter, right? Because now I saw that they only gave out one game ball. I thought, that's odd. Let me go back to Dylan Gabriel's first game that he played, and I couldn't find the loss. I don't think they showed the loss. I think they showed the locker room after a win. You could tell me that. How many times have they done it for the Jets?
What game loss?
I'm just playing around with you. I'm just playing around. No, but sorry. But no, I think they only posted with a win. So Gabriel was the quarterback when they beat the Dolphins. And so I wanted to see as they went around, and what they show on film, what happens before or after, don't know. But they went around to everybody. They didn't mention Gabriel. So I was like, okay, well, fair enough. They gave game balls out to different people, right? Junkins got a game ball because he had 3 touchdowns, and he mentioned him as a rookie. I was like, You didn't mention Gabriel, nor did you mention Shador. I thought that was odd. Now, maybe that's just Stefanski who he is. But then they brought it up during the broadcast, and everybody's been talking about it. He's the first Cleveland Browns quarterback since Eric Zaire, which was, 95, 97? I thought it was 97. You said 95?
95.
So in 30 years, in all the quarterbacks that have gone through Cleveland.
45, I think they said. I think it's 45 quarterbacks.
Yes. You got to know your history as a coach. And you've had rookies start.
Well, and if I can, whether it's Dylan Gabriel or Shador, when it's a rookie quarterback getting their first win in the NFL, they should get a game ball. Just like you give a game ball to a head coach for his first win, even though you probably didn't deserve the win because you had a horrible day as a coach, you barely won, you probably got lucky, and yet they give you the game ball. It's just like a customary thing you do for the rookie. It's just like, I don't know what they're doing. He gave out 4 game balls that game.
We did.
He gave 2 to the defense, 2 or 3 to the defense, and 1 to the offense. They gave them to the running back, got 1 of them. For
special teams.
They gave it to the lineman that played hurt. So that was 2 on the offense, and then they gave 2 on the defense. I don't think Myles Garrett got a game ball.
No.
I don't think he got a game ball. But Stefanski doubled down like the following day or later in the week, and because the game balls came back up again, and he kind of deflected and kind of talked about the team rather than an individual. But sometimes I felt like he did not want to say Shador Sanders' name.
He didn't. And if you remember, if you watched it early on, and I think he was talking about the lineman who played hurt, but as he was leading into it, he said the offense, how do you put it? Like the offense had some struggles at times. And he said again, the offense had some struggles at times. Almost to kind of start the process and throw in the shade, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't win because of you. We won in spite of you. And again, Stefanski, read the room. Just read the room.
Actually, you got to read your players.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about. When I say read the room, look at the Jerry Judys, look at the David Njokus, look at the Myles Garretts, look at these guys, look at the Junkins, look at these guys and all of a sudden their level of play went up a level. Because from a defensive side, you feel like, hey, maybe we do have a chance. We know he's not Josh Allen. We know he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Pat Mahomes. We get that. But we feel like we got a better shot. The way we have been playing on defense, if we can continue to do this and they're going to have our back a little bit, we got a shot.
That's what's so mind-boggling, that he's so tone deaf. I don't know what other word to use. And the rest of the organization doesn't see it. Where, like, if I'm the owner, I don't know, they pan to the owner during the game, and I was just like, you know what? Like, the owner's on the phone. He's not interested. Literally, your quarterback is on the field. You can wait the text message when your defense is on the field. If I'm the owner, I want to see my rookie quarterback every snap. I want to watch it every snap. Bizarre.
Well, he already knows what he's going to see. He's going to see success. No, I'm just messing.
But it's a really odd situation in Cleveland.
Did you see, and Craig had put this up here, and that reminded me. Did you see the video of the GM coming into the locker room and giving Shador a hug?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I'll make sure I get that over to you. So that also happened. So, and it was a long embrace. It was like one of those father-son type embraces. Like, I'm so proud of you, man, and you did a good job. That type of situation. We already know what's going to happen at the end. We already know. Right. Go ahead.
The Browns didn't even offer a spot for Dion to go watch the game with them. What the heck was that all about?
No.
Yeah. Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, invited him into his suite to watch the game. The owners didn't even say, hey, Dion, I know you're going to come out. Why don't you come watch it in our suite? It's Deion Sanders. Why that?
I didn't know that.
As Deion put out a clip thanking Mark Davis. Obviously, they did a photo thanking him for opening up the owner suite to a visiting player's father for the game. That really meant a lot, that you allowed me to kind of cheer for my son. He didn't say it, but he was kind of hinting that, I'm going to be rooting for my son to succeed in your owner's box as we play you. And you want to talk about stand-up guy by Mark Davis, and you got the Three Stooges over there in the visitor suite, and they don't offer anything for him. That's horrible.
Well, this soap opera is going to continue because Stefanski, was pushed, and there's a small piece of me, very small, that feels for Stefanski. It's a small piece, right? The problem and the reason why I feel for him is that you go into a draft room and you've already talked to your GM, you've already have your board, by position who's ranked here. So you're going to take the best position or best player available once, all of a sudden the blocks are starting to clear out, and you tell them, hey, we need to get, wide receiver depth. We need to get defensive line depth. We need to, oh, wait, that's the Bills draft board. Sorry. We need to get running back. So you already have that. And it kind of feels as though the Browns went off script. They didn't communicate to Stefanski to say, right, we're going to take Shador. They probably did talk to Stefanski about Gabriel. Right? And that's probably why Gabriel was taken there. And he's their guy. And then you go and you get another guy. And now you've just completely screwed up whatever. And now you've put me in this situation. So that's where there's a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
hold on one second. I'm going to say this to Kevin Stefanski. And, if Stefanski is watching this podcast, or this podcast gets to Stefanski, Kevin, you're going to be fired at the end of the season. What you do between now and the end of the season is going to follow you. I'm not saying you have to be a yes man and a company man, but you need to change the way that you operate. You need to come across as an open and loving and caring and a guy that's passionate about his team and not a guy that is acting like a 2-year-old sitting in the corner pouting because he can't get his way. I'm sorry, Stevie D.
No, that's great. I was just kind of I'm with you when you're going through a draft and you take a player that you don't want. I could see where he's upset about it. Hey, what's up, Jay? Happy Thanksgiving. I could see where you would be unhappy.
Mhm.
You have draft night and the night after, and maybe 2 nights. There's an old saying: you got 24 hours for your pity party, right? He's on your roster whether you like him or not, right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, your job is to coach the players that your GM has given you, whether you like it or not. And so I agree with you there that I think he's just hurting himself big time. He's absolutely hurting himself because so what does that show to other teams? So if you don't like what your GM has done, you're just gonna that's how you're gonna represent our organization.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
What GM wants to hire you for that? Well, tune in same time. Well, actually, probably not same time, but tune in next. As we continue to watch as the world turns, uh, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I again personally, I wish Shador nothing but the best. I want you to make it as hard as possible on the Cleveland Browns. I want you to have those naysayers eat their words. Right? Again, you won't hear Stevie D and myself typically bash, especially the young players. Right? It
Yeah.
just won't happen. Um, and for all of these commentators, talking heads that were out there, um, that wanted to either buy into a narrative or create their own narrative as to why Shador went fifth. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I got to do this one more time. Sorry, I know we were in and on the subject. So I do listen to a lot of sports talk, right? And I caught somebody over the weekend, not going to say who it is I listened to, but I caught somebody over the weekend. And the way they opened their show was talking about Shador and his first outing against the Ravens. Well, and they judged him, and they used that as the basis for I'm right from what I told you before about Shador, right? How many issues do I have with this? You don't know the man. You have never met the man. You have never been in his presence. He has never invited you over for dinner. You didn't go, he didn't come to your house and play spades. None of that happened, right? You don't know him. So don't act like you know what happened at the combine. Don't act like you know what happened at individual meetings. You don't know any of that. You are then judging this young man based off of a 30-minute body of work, to which we know that 30-minute body of work, A, was against a legitimate defense. They've had their ups and downs, but against a legitimate defense. That 30-minute body of work that you saw was because of the fact that a quarterback that was supposed to be in there was all of a sudden hurt, concussed, and so now you're forced into action. You weren't prepared by the head coach. You weren't prepared by the offensive coordinator. You have not been prepared throughout the course of the season. You don't have reps with the first team, which many people have found odd, whether it be 10% or 30% of the reps with the first team, just in case a situation like that happens. But yet, these talking heads and this person that I was listening to wants to draw a conclusion about Shador based off of that 30 minutes and that all that surrounded it. And so
Do you
now
know
when
how
you
many backup quarterbacks come in that are veterans that have that type of performance? You're asking a kid who's never played in the NFL,
yes,
hasn't had snaps all season up to that point to come off the bench and expect him to go what 60 to 70% completion percentage? Give me a break, people.
Yes.
You're unrealistic in your expectations.
And so they allowed that to fortify their argument as to why he should have been a fifth or not even selected, which is completely ludicrous in itself. So now, what did they do off of this performance? Well, it was the Raiders.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yeah.
It's the Raiders. So, all right, that's enough on Shador. I mean, this Happy Thanksgiving. This is the Shador Sanders show.
Well, look, I mean, it's a hot button topic, right? It's like you're either on Shador's side or you're not on Shador's side. It's very polarizing, and I told you when we talked about this, it reminds me of Tim Tebow a little bit.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow was so polarizing, right? It's like the kid was not a good quarterback, right? We know that he wasn't a good quarterback, but sometimes you couldn't even give the kid a shot because people were so either I hate Tim Tebow or I love Tim Tebow. I mean, it was wild. It was wild. So now I feel like we're stuck here.
That's great in the comparison. It really is. All right, Stevie D. I guess, it was a very interesting week. Once again, enough of these comeback victories, at least this one wasn't all in the fourth quarter. You had, and I don't know if our brother Jay is still out there watching, but Jay, you know where I'm headed here. You had the Eagles that, on paper, far superior team to the Dallas Cowboys. And the Eagles came out and they were ready to go, Stevie D. They were ready for a fight. As a matter of fact, this was the other 4:00 game. They were so much ready for a fight. They were up, 21-0?
At halftime.
And decided, that's it. We're good. We're not going to score any more points. And we're going to allow Dallas to just come down and Dallas scores 24 unanswered, Stevie D, to beat the Eagles.
Do you know who got credit for the reason why the Cowboys came back and won? I don't know if you heard the story.
No, who?
Quinnen Williams. The Cowboys players.
Former Jet Quinnen Williams. Okay.
Yeah. The players came out and said that at halftime he got up and addressed the team when they were down 21-0, and they said he gave an inspiring speech to the team that got them fired up and came out with a little bit of a different. And I heard that from multiple players. Where were you, Quinnen, doing that for us when we needed? Maybe he did and we didn't respond, but I'm happy for Q. He's a great dude, but I thought that was interesting, and some people were saying they were a little bit surprised because he doesn't really know. He's only there for 2 weeks, his first game, and that he felt comfortable enough. And what I think he told people, he said with the Jets was kind of weird. I was always considered the younger guy for the Jets, and now I come over to the Cowboys. I'm like the old man in the room. And I felt like I needed to step up and say something, and he did. So if I'm the Eagle, I'm what the heck's going on?
Hold on. Consider he's only been there 2 weeks, and he's the guy that's making the speech?
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah. But if I'm the Eagles, what is up with Saquon Barkley? He has not had a rush this year past 15 yards. They don't give him the ball. It's just weird.
I don't think that's it, personally. Now,
I just think it's part of what's happening. Like, what? Why aren't they?
I haven't watched every Eagle game. When there's smoke, there's fire. Now, I'm not saying A.J. Brown is right. I'm not saying that. But if you are not respecting the pass because you're not going to your guys, it makes it a lot easier to drop 9, 10 guys in the box, and it makes it a lot harder for Barkley. He doesn't have enough room to be able to jump over somebody backwards, right? It's just everybody's in that box. So I would put it more on Sirianni, the OC, and Hurts.
Sure. The Italian.
If you want to ask what's wrong with Barkley, I would bring it there.
Blaming the Italian, I see. Okay. All right.
Not a problem. As long as you don't call Dwight on me, we're in good shape.
I love the Tulsa King reference there. Nicely done. Nicely done.
All right. Addicted, must say addicted. Didn't think I was gonna be. See, you don't get this on every other podcast. The slight segue into Tulsa King in the reviews. So, but yeah, we had another comeback victory. So that was a surprise. The one, I want to talk about a little bit about the Chiefs Colts game. We have said in the past, Stevie D, we thought that the Colts really hadn't played anybody worthwhile. We didn't believe in Daniel Jones. We thought that 8-3 record was, or that the 8 records, we thought that was more of a, kind of smoke and mirrors. You're up 20-9 going into the fourth. You have Jonathan Taylor. Tell me how you lose.
It's horrible, horrible game by the Colts. That one, that's going to bite them. It's going to bite them. It's going to bite them in the seeding. They had a chance to knock out the defending AFC champs to make them at 5-6, going up against Dallas, then maybe go to 5-7. You had a chance there to really, put the pressure on them, and they failed. They hurt their own self in trying to get to that 1 seed, to stay on pace with the Patriots there, which I can't believe I'm saying the Patriots as the top seed. I mean, that's just ridiculous to say that. But you screwed yourself. And again, it goes back to coaching. What are you doing? What are you doing? And that's that stupid Patriot luck that we saw, for so many times with the Brady bunch over there.
Yeah.
Right? Is that somebody lets them off a hook. Now, granted, their records were always very good because the AFC also handed them basically 5 to 6 wins every year, right? So they didn't have to do much to get that 1 or 2 seed. But there was always there was a play here or there, and you're like, this is just that Patriot luck. And the Colts had them and really could have put the hurting on them, and they let them off the hook. Let them off the hook. Now, I didn't see this play, but I heard that there was a roughing the passer that wasn't called on Daniel Jones, and a roughing the passer that was called for Mahomes that was really a joke. Now, I couldn't tell you if both of those were game-changing plays because I don't know where they were on the field. Was it third down? Were they getting off the field? Type plays. I don't know. But I did hear some complaining about the officials, but I don't know if that really, did that 15-yard penalty for Mahomes jet set them up to get a touchdown, right? To inch them closer. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the Colts, you blew it. You blew it. And I don't know if I can take you seriously because I don't know if I can take your coach seriously.
I agree.
Right? Remember the guy that was with the Chargers? Not Stokely. What's that guy's name that got fired? The guy who messed up at the end of the game.
Brandon Staley.
Staley. I knew it was with an S. Like that guy. I don't know if I could ever hire that guy to be a head coach. After watching him on the sidelines and do stupid things as a coach, that was one of those games. If I am the lady owner, I'm sitting down with my coach at the end and I'm saying, what are we doing here? We're up 11. Like you said, with Jonathan Taylor. What are we doing? What are we doing?
So I don't think we're going to have a chance to go through all of them like we normally do. I do want to touch on this one because this prompted another change in the coaching staff. The Giants, led by Jameis, Stevie D, 18 of 36, 366 and 2 touchdowns. A Giants quarterback hasn't seen that in decades.
Jameis can sling it. he can sling it. And now I know he can catch and run.
But yeah, you have a lead. Another fourth quarter blown lead leads to a firing, and it's what could have been. At least you wonder, Dable, what were you thinking about starting Russell to begin the season? Why didn't you just start Jameis and have Dart be behind Jameis? You probably would have had Dart go to week 8 before he got a chance and kind of settled in. A lot of things could have happened. Why is Russell still on the roster is the next question.
Well, the question is, why did you even sign Russell Wilson? Why? You
Yeah.
saw what he did in Pittsburgh. You saw they ran him out of town in Denver. And if that wasn't enough, you saw how bad he was playing in Seattle at the end. So, really, I don't know what body of work Russell has put together in the last 4 years of football. It says, I want to sign him. And, oh, by the way, I'm not going to be the number one.
Rumor has it that he's looking to Florham Park for next year. He doesn't want to move. And he...
Honestly, I would take him right now. Absolutely, I would.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Well,
no,
we'd probably win too many games if he was there. I want a quarterback that's not afraid to throw the football.
There you go.
That's really what I want.
Now, Jameis, take Jameis. That would have been good. All right, so that kind of takes us a whirl around. Hey, Mark, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. All right, so mine's going to be very brief, Stevie D. There's not a lot I have to say. So I can set the clock for you. If you want to run for 15, you let me know.
I won't take up 15 to talk about the Jets. Really, obviously, Craig is probably going to do all the talking. He's still there. But yeah, I'll go first.
All right. So let's. I'm gonna give you 8 minutes on the clock. How's that?
Perfect.
All right, Stevie D, you are on the clock with 8 minutes.
Grand opening, grand closing. Next. Is that fast enough? 8 seconds? Oh, you said 8 minutes. I thought it was 8 seconds. My bad. Look, Jets competed for 3 quarters against the Ravens, right? But what did it show? It showed that our offense is anemic, and we just cannot get out of our own way. It just our play calling at times. We're horrible at short yardage. I like the way our defense is playing. We had a couple of bad third down penalties that I thought really hurt the Jets. That were, of course, because the calls didn't go for my team. I thought maybe we're a little ticky tack on it, but again, that's not the reason for anything. I just like the way our defense is playing. We can't get a turnover. That's the most amazing part of this whole thing. Through 11 games, we have 1 turnover. We have 0 interceptions. I don't even know how this is possible at this point in time. That something just doesn't go your way. You don't hit into it. I agree there, right? We even talked about Jameis should have been there a couple of years ago before they signed Tyrod Taylor. I would have done Jameis Winston before Tyrod Taylor to do that. Jameis has a big arm. He's a big body guy. He's not afraid to throw it. He's everything I'm looking at least for number 2. Heck, I'd even take some of those traits for a number 1, right? So, and he's got a great attitude. Come on. Tell me that guy doesn't have a great attitude and a great personality with his teammates. So he brings a lot of energy. But for me, again, I thought the defense played well for 3 quarters. Derrick Henry had 2 touchdowns, but he had 21 carries for 64 yards. So Derrick Henry was nothing in this football game. Lamar Jackson did not look like Lamar Jackson because of that great Jet defense, making him look average at best. But at the end of the day, we couldn't move the ball. And I thought the turning point to me was when they went for it at 4th and 2. And I'm a little bit more conservative in nature. I would have punted the ball. I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback because we didn't get it. I would have punted the ball, and here's why. And every Jet fan knows it, whether they want to admit it out loud or not. We are a horrible short yardage team. I'd rather see go for it on 4th and 8 than put us in this 4th and 2 in this no man's land where we know you're going to try and run it or just do something stupid, and that's what we did. And not for nothing, we don't even have Breece Hall on the field. How don't you have Breece Hall on the field on a 4th and 2? You have Davis? I want Breece Hall on the field. Even if you don't line him up as a running back, line him up as a I want Breece Hall out there. And I thought by not getting that 4th and 2 and giving him the field on a short field, it was the killer, because then they went down and scored, and that was it, because we can't score points. And I thought that was the turning point of the game. And when they didn't get the first down, that the balloon popped and everything just started going sideways. You're on the road. You're giving the Ravens a short field. You're basically giving them a field goal right off the bat, and they wound up scoring the touchdown. Just not good by the Jets. So, at the end of the day, what do we have? If I'm Craig, if you're still there, you should have more concerns that you didn't play well against the Browns, right? You are a dysfunctional offense, and you didn't play for 3 quarters really well against the Jets. Those are 2 teams that have 2 and 3 wins respectively that you didn't play well against. So more questions for the Ravens, but hey, you're 6-5. And I think you're tied for first place with the Steelers loss. But
They're in first place.
At the end of the day, the Ravens will figure out their offense, and they'll be okay. As far as the Jets are concerned, everybody now is talking about, where we are with the draft pick status. And it seems like half the fan base is more concerned about where they are with the draft, and half the fans want to win. I want to win. They're not going after the quarterback this year. I want to win because you have to start changing a culture from losing to winning. So I want to win games to do that. Again, our offense is just so out of sync, out of whack. But I will say, I do like A.D. Mitchell, and the fans are going to kill me for it because, he had those drops a couple weeks ago. They weren't all on him. All right. If we had a quarterback worth anything, you would have led the receiver for touchdowns, not throwing it where he's got to do this crazy over-the-shoulder catch, throwing it behind him this way. It's a little unfair there.
You may not have caught it, but your timer expired.
Really?
Yeah.
My side still says. That's interesting.
Yeah. It flashes zeros, but you can keep going because mine's gonna be short. I'm willing to give you mine.
No, it's really at the end. It's you're a 2-9 football team. That's right. I mean, there's not. What are you going to talk about that I haven't really said about? And I know I have to talk about the Jets, and I like talking about the Jets. It's just what can you really say? Ooh, our right tackle had a great pancake block, right? I mean, come on, right? It's just not. It's just not. I mean, Breece Hall has a killer fumble at the goal line. Killer fumble at the goal line.
So hold on. The question's asked: Did you draft in 26 or draft in 27? I say 27.
20. First of all, I don't like Mendoza. I'm on Operation Bohica podcast. Is that Kevin? That's Kevin. What's up, Kev? And I don't like Mendoza. I don't like him. Okay, he had that big play at the end with the touchdown. I'm not a fan out of Indiana. So I'd rather wait the year, save the money.
Here's what's crazy. You brought. I'm sorry. Go ahead, because there's something that's crazy about these quarterbacks right now.
I was just going to say, when your team is not ready, and you've said this, right? So it's like I got you in my head. If you're not ready, and your roster's truly not ready, why would you draft a quarterback in 26 unless he's the second coming, right, of the man upstairs? You want your team because you want that extra year of no money that you're paying the quarterback. Because if you hit, you're going to have to pay them eventually. So fill in all of your pieces all around as
Yep.
much as you need, and then do it in 27 where the draft class is much deeper.
Yep.
So that's where I'm with it, Kev.
No, to Kevin's point, and it's really hard, Stevie D, because with NIL and with the transfer portal that they have in college, these guys are all over the place. And we don't see guys being groomed in a system where you can really kind of see the talent that you have, right? You're going to have a guy that's playing in the SEC one year, out in the Pac 10 or what used to be the Pac 10 the next year, over to the ACC the next year, right? And look at Dylan Gabriel, right? You look at his path, excuse me, and where he ended up. I think UCF to Oklahoma to Oregon. Some people may have lost him, right? And I think that part of the growth of the quarterback is also lost with all of this. And I do think NIL hurts the quarterbacks as well. So I think added to your point, like who's out there? Well, I really don't know. Mendoza, what do you really have as far as a track record to show me that you are the guy that I'm willing to forego, what could be a growing year and put you in that spot? Right? I don't see that from you. And I don't see that really from any of these kids that are out there. I do think that you are in line to make a play for Arch Manning, though.
Yes, I do. And until he puts the power play with his grandfather,
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. They want the bright lights, big city. Well, then again, Florham Park, are the lights bright there like they would be if you were playing in Shea?
That's 2 today.
Happy Thanksgiving. See, what happens is when you take shots, you feel as though you have to give it back because misery loves company. And I've taken a lot of shots this week.
Not by me. I've been very supportive.
I need help. This is miserable. All right, Stevie D, let me get my 1 minute because that's really all I need. I did the rapid reaction. I already talked about it. I want all of Bills Mafia, all the Bills fans that are out there to open your eyes and just watch what's happening in front of you. And you can create your own opinion. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to take mine. You get your own opinion. The Bills did nothing at the trade deadline. The Bills went and signed Mecole Hardman. I don't have his rankings, but I'm telling you, it wasn't top 10, it wasn't top 50, wasn't top 75. Then he goes on IR because he had come off the couch and you have him run a 9 route 7 different times, right? Of course he's going to get hurt. And then you go and you sign Brandon Cooks, a guy that's been cut from, 31 of the 32 teams. Welcome to the 32nd team in order to be released, right? And you bring him in as the savior, just like Mecole Hardman was the savior. Because you are grasping, you are reaching for anything possible to hopefully get lightning in a bottle. That's all you're hoping for. Because you do know maybe there were the conversations and maybe that accountability that we've been talking about, maybe that had happened. So now we're just going to watch Brandon Cooks go out there and all of a sudden, if something happens positive, we're going to think, oh, they're great moves. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And listen to Sean McDermott in the way that he's talking. Listen to the way Brandon Beane is talking. Certain things that they say. Just like when we were talking about Shedeur, Stevie D, you have to listen to what's being said And sometimes you're not getting the words directly, but you can infer based off of how it's said, the tone it's said, and maybe some of the key words that are being said. This season, to me, is a lost season. This is a lost season because you had so much in front of you. So much was laid out for you. You had a silver platter. I really don't care about losing the AFC East, but I do care about losing the AFC East, especially to the Patriots. They're not ready yet. And we didn't make it a competitive fight for the division. Now, if they happen to slip up and lose, their next 4 games, and then you win the division, that shouldn't count. You didn't earn that. Yeah, you won your next 4 games, but you really didn't earn that. They fell apart. When you had a chance to beat them head-to-head early on in the year, you lost. So there's a lot of soul-searching that has to happen. I'm not in the mode of our 3-13 years, Stevie D, and you could tell everybody right around this time of year, what would I say? Just lose, baby. Just lose, because I wanted that draft pick, right? It was all about, is it tanking or is it looking to the future, right? I'm not there yet, but something has to happen. And I think it's going to ultimately take, Stevie D, something drastic has to happen in order for there to be change. And drastic would mean having everything laid out in front of you and still not even making it to the playoffs, let alone winning the division, going any further. And if that happens, then you get change. Again, I'm not advocating losing right now because that was a long time ago. That's when I needed to get certain things in place. But I am advocating change. And that's all I have. I'm not going into the game. I've already talked about it on the other one. I don't need to rehash that nonsense. I don't. I'm not going to talk about Pittsburgh because I know that we're a better – what's that?
That's who you have this week?
Yes. And we're a better team. I feel as though we're a better team. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what you just put us through over the last 2 weeks and what that's telling me where you are at and where your mind's at. Okay.
All right, so let me ask you something. So 2 years ago, maybe, I could be off on my years, so I apologize. You were 6-5, and you went on a run, right? And you were saying, man, I don't believe in Miami. Like, we can take this division. We can take it. And you guys made up a lot of ground really quickly on Miami. And I don't know if that's the year was that the 13-second year? Was that year? No, it was not that year. What that year? How far did you go in the playoffs that year?
Division
series. Was that Cincinnati?
No.
I guess that it doesn't really matter who you lost to in the playoffs. It's you're 7-4.
7-4.
You were 6-5 then, and you went on a run. What's the difference between that team at 6-5 and this team at 7-4? And why do you feel that at that point through 11 games, you felt like, man, we just go on that run, we're going to be in good shape, versus 7-4 and you go on a run, but you're not feeling it? What's the difference between those two?
It's a good question. We'll start with, in that period, you had Ken Dorsey as the offensive coordinator, and you had Josh. That there was an unspoken belief around, whether it be Bills fans or in the locker room, what have you, that the Bills had made a concerted effort to reduce the amount of rush attempts to try to save Josh throughout the season. And you saw that part of Josh's gameplay, the way that he operates, similar to Lamar, similar to Mahomes, right, is being able to get out of the pocket, bring the defenders up, create the voids in the secondary, and be able to make those passes. All of a sudden, they told him, we want to rein you in. We don't want you to do that. So that you had the change from Dorsey over to Joe Brady. The next thing is that you had a team and you had we were healthier. You had a team that was a little bit more skilled in a lot of the positions, and so you looked at some of the losses that you had, and you're like, man, we shouldn't have lost that game, right? That's one of those. It just shouldn't have happened, but it did happen, right? And if Dorsey would have called a better game plan, this would have happened. We just knew that. You felt it. Well, now I look at the 2025 Buffalo Bills. Yes, we have a lot of injuries, just like a lot of other teams. But we have a lot of injuries, right? A lot of injuries on the defensive line. You got your linebackers hurt. Milano is in and out. You have Bernard, who's out now, right, and has been in and out, suffering from the ankle. You got Trey Wright, Taylor Rapp, in your secondary. Benford's been hurt. Maxwell's been hurt. So that's just your defense, right? And I talk about the defensive line, and what Oliver and Jones and Walker and T.J. Sanders and Bosa.
Heck,
Yeah, right. Michael Heck comes in for a game and a quarter. He's gone. I mean, there's a ton of injuries there on the defense. You go on the offensive side of the ball, they've had injuries too, right? And now you got Spencer Brown out, Dalton Kincaid. We don't know.
what happened to the big boy?
I'm not sure if it's his back or what, or shoulder. I think it's his shoulder. Oh yeah, he's out.
He's out there coming up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, and we've had it. The only thing that we've been fortunate enough with is Cook and Allen have stayed healthy. But Allen took a beating last week. Took a beating. So, and when I look at the team, offensively, we're not as strong. We have, all right, yeah, you got Dalton Kincaid. That's a nice tight end, right? He's no Antonio Gates, no Tony Gonzalez. Don't get it confused there. But he's a nice tight end. He's a nice weapon. But he's a tight end. Don't try to play him the X, the Y, the Z. He's a tight end. He's a tight end you could split out to create mismatches. But again, he's a tight end, right? And so, again, going back to your question, what's the difference? There was hope then. There's no hope right now. Not because we just lost to the Texans. That's not it. There's no hope because I look up and down our injury report, and I see a lot of key names on that injury report. There's no hope because I watch a team that it takes 30 minutes for them to develop a game plan, and they can only hope and pray that they've been able to make the changes in the second half in order to stop them so that we can pull out the victory. Instead of the team being prepared from opening kickoff. Why does it take week after week for you to go 30 minutes to realize what the other team is doing and then make the change? Why do you have to make a change at all? Why aren't you just that dominant to impose your will on the other team? Force them to make the change at halftime. You know what? We can't run the ball against this team because they're smothering us. I don't know what they did. We got to figure out a way. That doesn't happen, Stevie D. What happens is the other team is like, we're going to come back in the third quarter and keep doing, oh, well, they made an adjustment. Okay, and then we change. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, you and I talked about this separately because we talk so often. So I don't know when we had this conversation, but hopefully you remember it. You brought up a point about Joe Brady. Could he have one foot out the door? Is he distracted? You talked about the Penn State opening. Is he looking at what opportunities maybe some other programs have reached out to him and he's a little bit distracted or you just no.
And the reason why I say no, I think it's a little different with Joe Brady compared to maybe some of the offensive coordinators that we see from time to time, especially when playoffs run around and the worst time of the year for any type of coordinator, right? The hot coordinator, everybody wants to talk to him. And then if they lose, the excuse why they lose is that they were distracted because they, had an interview. I don't believe that. And I don't believe that's the case here with Brady because Brady has stunk from day one, right? But I want to be fair to Brady, and I've said this countless times. You can only work with what you're given. If I am a chef and I am given certain ingredients, do not expect a 5-star, 5-course meal to come out. I'll give you the best that I can give you. It's going to be edible and, hopefully nutritious. It'll keep you going to the next one. But don't expect to sit back, oh, man, that was such a good, because I can't do that. Well, that's what Joe Brady has. He has not been given all of the ingredients to give you that 5-star, 5-course meal. He hasn't been given that. They've said everybody's going to eat. Bull. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now, where Joe Brady has failed, and this is where I go back and forth, right? Because I do understand the problems that he faces there. But you have to be better than that. And I am not a Mike McDaniel fan. Or not Mike McDaniel. New England. McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, thank you. I am not a Josh McDaniels fan. I'm not a Charlie Weiss or Romeo Cornell fan. Not a Belichick fan. Not a New England fan, to be honest with you. But if you look at the course of PED 12's career there, and you look at the wideouts that they had there, except for one, they have never had a top-notch wide receiver. Never.
Yeah.
They turn players into Pro Bowlers and potential Hall of Famers by their play calling and the schemes that they would run. They were notorious for the picks. Notorious. Right? And we all complained that they never got called, and you could see it. Right? Well, it's a gentle rub route. It was no gentle rub route. You ran in, knocked the DB out of the play, and let your guy come across. But that's scheming your guys open. That's the ingenuity of the coordinator, and that's what I would expect from Joe Brady. So even though you weren't given all of the top-notch ingredients in order to prepare this massive feast, you've been given some. You just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I love that, what you said right there. Right? You're not going to have studs everywhere. One, most teams can't afford to have studs everywhere. But how are you scheming as an offensive coordinator to put your players in the best position to succeed? Because when you looked at those Patriot championship teams, and you look, they didn't win a Super Bowl with Randy Moss, right? So he had a Hall of Famer, had a ridiculous that one year.
They went undefeated,
right? They went undefeated, right, until the Giants, but he had an amazing year.
You sound like Kevin Stefanski until the Giants.
No, but in seriousness, right? Who is Wes Welker? Who is Julian Edelman? I mean, obviously, Julian Edelman was easy once you built a Wes Welker. You're just looking for the next one, right? They brought in Amendola in that role as well.
You had Troy Brown.
Yeah. David Patton. I mean, they've had some.
Patton. I mean,
right?
seriously, go down the list of names. If there's anybody that says everybody eats mentality, that was the everybody eats mentality. And they won championships, Stevie D.
Yeah, championships. Yes, I mean
they won championships. They cheated, but they won championships. So this is where I go back and forth. I'm not ready to put it all on Joe Brady. I'm not. But I'm not all to put it in on Brandon Beane. I am, because you still have failed us, Brandon Beane. But Brady, you could have done better. Right? You have some tools. And don't say I don't, see 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, and so forth and so on. Stevie D.
Hold on, because I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done with your bills yet.
Hold on. Let me adjust this spotlight. Feel like I'm under the spotlight.
Is with all of that, you had a chance to win the game at the end. With all of those injuries and everything that we've talked about, You had the miracle great play on 4th and 27 in the hook and lateral that totally caught the Texans off guard. Everybody was following the guy. They didn't even look at the guy that was cutting across the field. It was brilliant, right? And with all of that, and that's why I do believe you are still a very, very dangerous football team if you figure it out. Because
dangerous for what? Dangerous for what, though, Steve? In all fairness, what do you think?
But the AFC is so wide. Okay, to get to the exhibition game, okay, the AFC is so wide open. I don't believe in the Colts. New England, again, they're 10-2. Okay, they beat you guys, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I can trust New England in a big time spot yet with that young team. Kansas City is 6-5. The Steelers, sorry, Craig, your Ravens at 6-5. Like, there's no dominant team. I said all of this to say there's no dominant team in the AFC. So if you can figure it out, somehow get healthy. Again, you went with the Texans, who's been playing very well. As bad as you played, you were there at the end and could have came out with the victory. And that's why I can't. I'm an outsider. You see it more. You made some valid points that I cannot argue with. But I get stuck in my head because I'm an opponent that has to face you twice a year. And I see how your team can move when your head is not in your butt, right? I can see how quickly you can go down a field and score. And that's the scary part about the Buffalo Bills. It's just
so it's funny not what you said, but how you said it. You actually were on the path to something. You said in your head, or when you're ahead. I forget how the play of words that you were using. You weren't talking about the score. But it is. It is when Buffalo is ahead in the game, they are able to dictate, and then you start to see kind of the offense at its finest, right? Because now we have you on the heels. You're chasing us for points. You're doing things uncharacteristic. You're out of your game plan. That's the only thing that we've dictated is by going up 7-0 on the scoreboard. That gives us that ability. We are not a team, and yes, Craig, we came back against you, but we're not a team right now that if we're behind and the other team is dictating, that we flip the switch and impose our will. We're not that team. When you get into the playoffs, and that's why I asked you the question, what's it all for? Right? No, I don't believe in Daniel Jones, and thus I don't believe in Shane Steichen, and I don't believe in the Colts. Fair enough, right? I don't believe in the Chiefs, but I do think the Chiefs have the ability to flip the switch over a short period of time. Right? They got a lot of older players there. Time is kind of, but you get in that locker room, you have that veteran meeting. Week 12, week 13, week 14, whatever it is, you're like pounding the table. You're like, look, if we're going to go out, we're going to go out on one last ride, and we're going to ride. I need you, Chris Jones, to do this. I need you, going up and down, right? I don't know the whole Chiefs roster, right? But I need you, and they can flip that switch because they got you. You've seen it, so they got it. Whether or not they put themselves too far back in order to get there, that's a different thing. That's a legitimate competition. I look at the Chargers. I don't believe in the Chargers. I look at the Broncos and I say yes, because you have an outstanding defense over there, and that defense can be lights out and shut you down. The question is, do I believe in Bo Nix? No. Do I believe in Sean Payton? Yes. Sean Payton can kind of guide Bo Nix into being able to get a nice 21-10 victory, right, or 17-10 victory. And what's it all about? Again, what is it all about? Are you just trying to get to the playoffs to kind of put a check mark on the board to say, well, of our goals, we wanted to do this, 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 and this, and we only did 3 of them, but we did check that last one to get into the playoffs. What's it about? Do you have the ability to make the run? Right? When you start the season, every team, when they get into the beginning of the season, the question is, and they ask themselves, do we have the ability in order to become a Super Bowl champion? That's the question that you ask, right? And when you ask that question, you have to be honest with yourselves, right? I don't think that at least we haven't been honest with our fans for so long, right? And again, I go back during the 17-year drought. We weren't honest with us. I don't think your fans are honest or your ownership administration is honest with you because they're not making the right decisions. They're making some good decisions, some bad decisions, right? But they want our money. What's it about this year? It should have been about going to the Super Bowl. It should be all in, like in poker. You're pushing everything in. I'm heading up, hey, Stevie D, can I borrow 50? Right? Because I need to go in. I'm going all in. I'm trading everything. I'm putting my watch in, my hat in, everything because I believe in Josh. And I believe in the team that I have there. It's just not where we're at. And so, again, I go back to, do I believe, to your question, do I believe that we are in a different space? Is it similar? It's not similar. It's not. Stevie D, we've gone a long time, and I wanted to ask you some things here, right? So it's going to be quick. It's Thanksgiving season. So what's on the menu for Thanksgiving?
Oh, man. No, keep in mind, right? We're 3 people here. So you think we are feeding an army, okay? So I'm just going to throw it out there. So we have a 19-pound bird, okay? 19-pound bird. My son loves turkey. He loves
How
the way
are we cooking? How are we cooking this?
It's baked in the oven at 350.
Okay.
There's a brining process that takes 24 to 36 hours.
Don't give up the trade secrets now. I know some of the trade secrets. Don't give up the trade secrets.
So it's a really juicy turkey. I don't know what it is. The turkey's really good. So anyways, we got the turkey. Twice baked potato on the menu. Some cranberry sauce that Dina makes from scratch from fresh cranberries. We're having a salad. We got this dressing from a restaurant that we buy the dressing from. It's really good. So it's just got a lot of different ingredients in the salad. And I feel like I'm missing something on the dinner menu there. For dessert, pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie, chocolate chip cookies. It's silly with 3 people. Oh, by the way, there's 2 pecan pies, not just one. There's 2 because when I made it actually fit out for two 9-inch pecan pies. Pecan. Some like to say call it pecan. Some call it pecan.
I was wondering if one was for Rich to take home or to take back with him.
No, I don't think he's ever had it before, so that's going to be the first time. So there, and then for drinks, he's getting all ready for the bar downstairs, and he wants to make this drink. Well,
No, I had something in my eye.
yeah. So it's just it's so we're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna eat a lot of food. So how about you?
So we're gonna have bologna, probably some wheat bread, and maybe some mayonnaise, and call it a day. No, no. There will be some tryptophan going on. That is for sure. Have a little bit of turkey going on. Have ham. So I'm actually less excited for the Thanksgiving meal and for the sandwiches to follow thereafter. Right. So after everything's been put away, there's nothing like that sandwich. It just tastes so good, right? You get, but for me, put a little Miracle Whip on one side or some mayonnaise for people. Put that on there, a little pepper on there, a little salt. Oh, that's actually what I can't wait for. But some scalloped potatoes, some sweet potatoes, let's see, green bean casserole, some stuffing, a lot of
Oh,
carbs,
stuffing.
gentlemen.
That's what I missed. Stuffing. I forgot the stuffing. Thank you.
Yes, carb explosion, 100% carb explosion. And then let's see, what do we have? Ooh, and we forgot. Ooh, we forgot a pie. And I'm not making it. We have apple, we have cherry, and we have pecan pie. So we have those three, but I did forget one. Ooh, shame on me for that one. But that's okay. That's okay. And then there's football. I cannot wait for football. I can't believe that it's Thanksgiving. I think we started out the show and you said I can't believe it's here already, and you're right. It just seems like it only just began. But we have some good matchups, Stevie D. This isn't a betting show. This isn't a fantasy show. So please do not listen to this to try to get any ideas on who to bet or what to bet. But just the lineup. I'm loving the Packers and the Lions. This really is um, a very pivotal game for the division. So I think Fox lucked into that one. CBS trips themselves getting the Chiefs at 6-5 and the Cowboys at 5-5, but that actually becomes good, right? Because now it's almost like a winner
Yeah.
advances, the loser goes home, right? Cowboys coming off of what they had, Chiefs coming off of their miracle, both teams, right? Last second comeback victories. So that's good. And then you would think that the Ravens and the Bengals would be a dud, right? You go from it, well, it could be really good because these two teams don't like each other, to Burrow's out, Lamar's out, the Ravens aren't playing this, the Bengals are playing, and now Burrow's back, Chase is back. This could be an interesting game. There's a lot riding on this one. The Bengals still think that they have a shot for the playoffs. Why, I don't know, but okay. But that's an interestingly good game. So I'm
Well,
excited.
right? Because they have 3 tough games left. 2 against the Ravens, and I forget they got one other tough game. I think that's on the schedule.
Who's that?
The Bengals.
Okay.
So could they get hot with a quarterback that hasn't played in weeks? I don't know. I don't know. But they were in a similar situation, I think, last year, weren't they?
Well, they were. I think if they do it, though, Stevie D, if they do it, it's going to be all around winning the division. And that means that the division is just going to beat up on each other, and they're going to end up, overtaking either Pittsburgh or Baltimore. They're 3 games back, though. Think about that. They're 3 games back.
Right, but when you got 2 games against your division leader, and you win those 2 games, right? Now you cut that 3 games down to 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in fairness to them, they do have some of that, not control their own destiny, but they have a way to get back into it. I don't think they will. I'm with you. I'm on the board of it's not going to happen. I think at 3-6, it's just that's a hard thing to do because you can maybe afford one more loss the rest of the way, maybe one. Right, that would get you to 10-7 if you had one more loss. I don't know if they can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Black Friday. Black Friday.
You don't go shopping, do you?
I so miss that.
Really? Oh, I never got into it. I don't get into it.
They screwed me all up. But let me talk about the game, and I'll leave you a nugget on that one. So you got the Bears and the Eagles. First of all, both teams are 8-3. Both teams, basically are leading their own division. This is something that is just mind-boggling. Right? I thought the Bears would make the playoffs, but as a wild card, not trying to run away with the division. The Eagles, if they lose this game, you want to talk about pressure? We were talking about what happened to Saquon. That was what you asked, right? I think it goes through the roof. I think that I don't think anybody's safe because now all of a sudden you're looking at a team that, former Super Bowl that everybody thought was invincible and has made all these moves is now playing themselves out. So it's just an interesting game. And on the Bear side, I just see a team getting confidence. And sometimes that's all it takes, right? You take that lower place schedule, you string together some wins, and everybody's jumping and having a good time in the locker room, high fiving, and there's that word Mo again, Stevie D. They say it's not real. I believe in Mo, and momentum will take you a long way. So, but now you asked me about Black Friday shopping. When this thing called the internet was the demise of my Black Friday shopping, I loved it. Right, I would go into the stores. There'd be certain things that I keyed on that I wanted to get. It didn't matter what it was. There were some things I focused on, and I shouldn't be giving this away. Nobody was hurt in the making of this dramatization. I will say that though, right? But I remember one year, one of the stores had an ab rocker, or not an ab rocker, a video game seat rocker thing. Speakers built in, right? You could just sit on. This is back in my day when I was on the PlayStation. Made sense for me to get this, right? Get a nice, be fully immersed in the sound and everything. So I get over to the section. I ask the guy, "Hey, where are these?" He's like, "Oh, they're all gone." What? Right after trying to get parking and trying to navigate through the sea of humanity, I said, "No, say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so." So I start walking around the store. Ooh, there is a cart with one in the cart, right? Oh, yeah. So I made my plan. I looked around. This will go from your cart to my cart. Thank you. Now, here's where I feel bad. Here's where I feel bad. I'm going to the store with this in my cart, and then I realize I don't really want this. That's where I feel bad. But Black Friday shopping was great. It was great. I just, there was such a rush to get in there and to spend money and to go in debt and all that, but it was fun. But now
I can't. I never got into it. Never got into it.
It's now all online. And what do you get from online? Hey, I didn't even see this. There was a question: what's worse, 13 seconds or 28-3? I'm so sorry, Kevin. Well, if we use it in context, 28-3 was in the Super Bowl. That's worse than 13 seconds because 13 seconds was a divisional playoff game. So I will say that. As a Bills fan, 13 seconds hurt because you were so close to the championship game, right? And it actually was at the point where, Stevie D, people were calling, not to call during a game. I think I'm going to start blaming all those people that called that day. Because all of a sudden I'm getting texts and bigs, "Oh, congratulations, get away from me," right? Get away from me. Like I know, certain things you can't do in the way you are. And we all know the outcome of that. Sean McDermott should have been fired the day after. Instead, he fires Leslie Frazier. Stand-up guy, Sean McDermott. Stand-up guy. That's all I got to say. All right, Stevie D. I do want to wish you and the family a happy Thanksgiving. Also, the family up north, wish them a happy Thanksgiving as well.
Well, it's a big day, right? You didn't know. I got to pull a Phil Rizzuto and wish my sister a happy birthday. Now, according to my son, my younger sister, a happy birthday. So it's her birthday today, and my mom surprised my sister by flying in her daughter in from Maryland. That's at school, so she got a surprise last night. That they did a thing. Oh, come over to the house, and then her daughter was there. So, and then her other daughter is going to be in town for birthday and obviously then Thanksgiving. So, they're going to enjoy a good weekend up there for Thanksgiving. So, really happy there for them.
Very, very nice. All right. Well, cool. And we want to wish everybody out there in podcast land, all those that are listeners, subscribers, those that just follow, that want to be part of the conversation. We want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving as well. Spend time with the family, enjoy time with the family. No arguments at the dinner table. It's all about food, people. Nothing else. It's about food. Don't even talk about McDermott. Don't talk about Brady. Don't talk about Bean. None of it. Just eat the food. And if you eat plenty of turkey, you'll be tired, and then you won't have those conversations. So we can stay away from the arguments, right? We can stay away from that. But yeah, just enjoy it. Enjoy the time off if you're off from work. And I think it's gonna be same bat time, same bat channel next time. Stevie D. We'll be talking about the firing of Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean. All right, that's going to wrap this one up. For my co-host Stevie D, I'm Vince. We wish you a very, very, very happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you soon.